So James Anthony sent in a question, and his question is, as a former bus driver, I wish to draw to the attention the abysmal service Arriva provides to the Kirkheaton area of Huddersfield. We are now down to one bus an hour, Monday to Saturday and Sundays. The frequency is one bus every 2 hours. No other bus operator runs stage carriage services to and from Kirkheaton. Will the Mayor please look into the diabolical service Arriva operates not only to Kirkheaton but other satellite villages of West Yorkshire?
Thank you so much for the question. Obviously, he's not here, but actually this question could be said of anywhere in Wakefield, Leeds and Huddersfield, because Arriva have been absolutely terrible. And you'll know that the bus network is broken because it's run by private companies, and their priority is profit for shareholders. So when a route isn't financially sustainable in their eyes, because it's not profitable, then it's withdrawn, which means you get a shrinking bus network, and because it's shrinking, it's unreliable, it's every 2 hours or whatever. It means that people use them less, so it shrinks even more, so it's managed decline. So that's why when I first became the Mayor, I made the decision to bring buses back into public control. That's why we were the first in the country to bring in the £2 Mayor's fare. And I've been able to make the decision to keep it under the £3 national fare, again, up until December 2025. But we have to take a bolder view, don't we? What is bus for? It's to get people to jobs and opportunities, to work, to college, to cultural events, to end loneliness. And it can't just be where there is the profitable routes. And Arriva have really driven that company into the ground. So the challenge for me is, as we move to franchising, we are supporting bus companies and the public where they're pulling routes. We are going out to tender to get new companies to run those routes. However, when you've somebody like Arriva and they pull a service that was once, every half an hour, and now they make it every 2 hours, it's really hard to tender that for another company, because what they'd want is the whole route. They don't just want a tiny piece of it, they want the whole thing. So we're working with people like Arriva to say we've got to put the public first. So Kirklees will be part of the first wave of franchising. So there'll be 3 tranches. As you've seen in Greater Manchester, it's rolled out in sections, and Kirklees is one of the first ones. So by 27, all of Kirklees will have fully franchised buses, and then by 28, the whole network will have franchised buses. But this is only one part of the story. Buses and mass transit for West Yorkshire. So the first line is Leeds to Bradford, but we've spent £1 million looking at how we get tram South Leeds and out to Dewsbury, because we know that tram will unlock all of that economic opportunity. And actually, the way we're talking about mass transit, I believe, has brought more confidence into West Yorkshire, because they know that businesses that want to find somewhere to invest know that their workers will be able to get around because the transport is better. But Tim, I'm going to come to you just about Kirkheaton. If you just don't mind just jumping up and thank you. Thanks.
No, thank you, Tracy. I think I may have actually spoken to this gentleman only about 2 hours ago.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great.
Our community engagement events.
Can you hear Tim?
Yeah. So,
just speak like this.
Okay. Is that any better? Fantastic. So services to there and indeed other parts of the area, and indeed, as Tracy said, across the whole of West Yorkshire for Arriva have not been good enough. And they've been cancelling pre-Christmas about 1 in 10 buses, and you only need to run a bus once every hour, and all of a sudden you're waiting for 2 hours. So we have not been accepting of that, and we've been holding them to account in the delivery of their services. But more importantly, what we've also done is made sure where we run their contracts, we've taken some of those contracts back and awarded them to other operators. So the likes of Yorkshire Buses are now running what were previously services operated by Arriva. We're hopeful that some of the changes that came in at the start of January will start to see that performance improve. It's early days. We want to make sure that they're running the services as we expect them to. We have some further changes coming at the end of February, and we're keen and very focused on making sure that that change will give us the performance we expect of them. To the Mayor's point, though, what we want is a reliable service for members of West Yorkshire and of the community. And Kirkburton and Kirkheaton and places, deserve a reliable bus service, and that's exactly why we're progressing with franchising.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks. If you just pop it on the side, though. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It seems
it's my favourite topic, buses. We could talk about buses all night long. I'd be happy.
Well, you're going to love this because the second question is also about buses.
Oh, gosh.
Coming from Matt B. So Matt says, do you still believe the Huddersfield bus station project still represents value for money when all the transformational elements of the scheme have been removed, which would benefit the passengers, and most of the budget is being spent on maintenance aspects and preliminaries to keep the station open whilst the works take place?
Okay, so for those people that don't know, it's a big renovation project at Huddersfield bus station. If you've been recently, it's incredibly tired. It's a poor entrance. It doesn't look loved or looked after. It doesn't feel attractive to want to go there. And parallel, if you've been to Halifax bus station, which we've built new, it is lovely. It's modern, it's light, it's airy, it's connected to a heritage building. That's what I want for Huddersfield. And there was some scoping of the budget. I think there was a big copper awning that unfortunately had to go because it was like millions of pounds for the copper, or the sort of bespoke nature of it. But we've got a new plan that is equally as beautiful. But inside, I did a back to the floor session one afternoon last week, talking to people at the desk, the customer service desk, talking to the drivers, talking to security, talking to the cleaners about what they wanted to see. And they wanted it to be clean and airy. And I think the consultation that we had in 2021, the design of that has been slightly scoped just for budget, but I think it will still bring that transformational change. We've got to have that attractive walkway into the city and into Huddersfield bus station. And it's also got to be safe and attractive, particularly for women and vulnerable people, to want to use it. And that's why I've spent money training PCSOs that are dedicated to the bus network to go on buses and be in bus stations to make sure that people feel safe. And talking to a couple of the safer travel folk, just two young men who were so passionate about their job, saying, we've been able to intervene on, they used a couple of examples, and also they said that the antisocial behaviour has dropped by nearly 50%, just because of the high-vis, these young men that are talking the language of youngsters and trying to get that antisocial behaviour out of the bus station. So I think it's transformational, it's sustainable, it's connecting, and there is an opportunity later in the year, I think, to feed your thoughts in. So it's a continuous consultation. So whoever that person is, if they didn't feed into the first consultation, they do have an opportunity coming down the track. But I have real ambitions for Huddersfield Station. We can't have hundreds of millions of pounds spent on Huddersfield rail station as part of the Transpennine route upgrade, and then have this 1950s bus station. We deserve better, and we're going to deliver it.
I understand, Tracy, just on bus stations, I believe there's work going on with Dewsbury as well.
Yep, that's the same. It's a renovation. The same is true about Dewsbury bus station. It's tired. It's part of that whole transformation of Dewsbury City Town Centre, Dewsbury Riverside, the arcade. There's lots of money going into Dewsbury. But you'll know, walking from Dewsbury Station into town is shocking. And it looks derelict half the time, doesn't it? So we're going to change that, working with Kirklees Council. We've got a really ambitious plan. The blueprint for Huddersfield's really strong, station to stadium really strong, and then I think the work that they're planning for Dewsbury deserves it. And I don't know about you, as a kid, going to Dewsbury Market with my gran, then we go to Caddy's for ice cream, then you go to one of 3 cinemas. It's just wrong that we don't have that opportunity for communities like Dewsbury across West Yorkshire to have that cultural, vibrant town centre.
Brilliant. But we still...
Hands up, anybody remember Caddy's ice cream, or am I so ancient? Oh my God, it's only me? Oh, this can't be right. I'm only 110, obviously, because nobody remembers it. Goodness.
Well, let's stick to your other favourite topic, apart from ice cream. We're still on transport, which, Mayor, I know that's your favourite subject. So John S. has sent in a question on...
Is John here?
No, I believe he's not.
Oh, he's at the top.
Oh, is he? John
Great
S.,
stuff.
would you like to ask your question?
The mic's coming. Go for it, kid. It's like question time. Is it Kirk? Oh, Kirk Eaton, great. There's the mic, love. Take the mic and belt it out. Oh, I always have that problem. I need my specs.
Right. 103 years ago, the first bus ran this service to Kirk Eaton. It was soon complemented with a service to Dewsbury. By 1990, we had 8 buses per hour from Huddersfield and 2 from Dewsbury. Then came eventually Yorkshire Tiger and Arriva, who reduced the service to 4, then 2, then 1, and none to Dewsbury. But we can now go to Edmund White, which we didn't have before. Arriva and the West Yorkshire Combined Authority has now cut tea time services, which I understand are going to be reinstated now after learning today. But they did cut them. So we've lost passengers who wanted to come to town at tea time. When I go home from here tonight, the bus which I will catch will, if it runs, will be the 2025 which goes to Upper Eton. It does not go into Kirk Eaton Village. Instead, it will take me to Bowman Square, where I will then have to walk 3/4 of a mile into Kirk Eaton. This claims to be the Kirk Eaton bus service, but it's not. So I will have to walk up the hill in the dark, not knowing what's on the pavements to get home. It's a disgrace that Arriva has got away with this for so long, and we certainly need all buses, every one which comes towards Kirk Eaton, to run to the top of the village and serve Moorside Road, because that Moorside Road is the busiest road, with the exception of Town Road, which is the Town Road and Moorside Road are both the busiest roads in Kirk Eaton, but the bus doesn't bother with either of them in an evening from Huddersfield.
Thank you, John. Obviously, that's a really important route for you. Just to clarify, you said Arriva and West Yorkshire Combined Authority cut the route. Let me tell you, we're not in the market for cutting any routes. It was Arriva that cut it, and we have reinstated it because of citizens like yourself telling us that they needed that bus. But this is just proof, if we needed proof, that it isn't working and it's just not fit for purpose. And I hope that you fed into my Tell Tracy big bus chat. I needed to know, part of the bus consultation, we've had opportunities for people to feed in. But can we take that away? Is there anything you want to add to that, Tim? You have to start running now to the mic.
Hello again. We talked earlier, didn't we? So, no, absolutely. Look, we'll look into this for you in terms of that particular problem. But to the Mayor's point, this is very much borne by behaviour and decisions of Arriva's making, and including that, we want to make sure that we can reinstate the services and build on that into franchising, because this is very much the reason why the Mayor has taken the decision to franchise the bus network, which is to reinstate and re-improve services in line with what people's expectations are. So, but we'll be in touch, absolutely.
Thank you, Tim. And if I could just add that
So the process of awarding contracts will start in October of this year, and we'll be putting contracts out for tender later this year with, as the Mayor said, first services starting in this area in March, April of 2027. The process of how those contracts are awarded will take into account a whole range of factors, and we can't just do this on the basis of price. So, we'll make sure we take into account the factors that we can take into account, and also make sure that we properly assess the ability of any bus operator, not just ones that run in West Yorkshire, I hasten to add, but any bus operator nationally who wants to run here will absolutely make sure that they can deliver the services that we expect of them, because the quality of that service will be entirely of our design, and it is for us to ensure that you get the service you expect and rightly deserve.
Thank you. I was just about to say that we were told by the operators that part of the problem, the reason why buses were cancelling, is they couldn't get enough drivers. So we ran a course, a number of courses. We got 150 new drivers. Hardly anybody wanted to work for Arriva. So there's something wrong with the business model, that people don't want to work for a company. And therefore you're cutting services, or you've got ghost buses because you don't have the driver capacity. So there's something wrong there, isn't there? And we're just, working with them to try and pick up what's being cut to support you. But fundamentally, you're paying for it. This is public money. Nearly 15% of our network we're paying for already because bus companies have pulled out because it's not profitable. It's just not good enough.
That's great, and it's wonderful to hear about your plans for taking over the bus services through the franchising model. But just before we move on to the next question, I think equally trains are a bit of a problem in terms of reliability, overcrowdedness, and I've also had trains just abandon us sometimes, and we have to catch a connecting train. What are your views on improving train services?
So transport is part of a bigger picture in West Yorkshire. It's trams, it's buses, it's active travel, but rail is really, really important. Now, I'm saying to government, when they were talking about further devolution, that mayors are going to be part of Great British Rail, that we're going to have a statutory. Could I just ask the sound guy just to take off the sharpness of the mic? It's ringing a little bit. Oh, it's that one. Oh, that makes sense. So we're saying to government, if you want a better transport network, give mayors the autonomy to make decisions for our patch. So we are going to be saying, like in London, where you've got the tube and the buses, but you've also got the overground. We are going to be saying, give us the devolved powers so that we can run like Ilkley to Leeds. So we can run the network in the 5 towns, because surely we know what the public need, and can have that big transport plan that works with mass transit and works with buses, so we can all, we can have that overriding plan. Now, where there is Leeds to Harrogate, for example, or Leeds to Sheffield, the Penistone line, what we are saying as mayors, how can we collaborate as mayors to deliver better outcomes on those routes and connect the whole of our network in a better way? Because it's not been, when it's done from the centre, it just doesn't work. So the train is absolutely part of our plan. And you'll have seen over the last couple of years, Transpennine Express, when it was at its worst, and I live on this route in Slough, when it was at its worst, when it was so shocking. I honestly, every night looking for the P coding, what trains were cancelled, how do I get to work? We as mayors came together to press government to bring Transpennine Express back into public control. We were being reassured by TPE, it's only temporary. Once we got the operator of last resort into Transpennine and we lifted the bonnet on the business, It was hanging by a thread. Thank goodness we intervened. Now we have TransPennine and Northern in public control. The government are going to go further. They're going to bring all of the network back into public control. That gives us as mayors the opportunity to say, give us those routes so we can have our London-style overground network.
That's great. It's great to hear that because it leads really nicely onto Oleg's question. Is Oleg here? I hope I said that right. Yeah. Question involving mass transit and sustainable transportation.
Super.
Thank you. I'm actually just asking the question on behalf of Oleg. My name's Darren from Future Wellness, I'm a colleague of Oleg's. And Tracy, first of all, loving your Instagram. Yeah, some good stuff, good content. Obviously
I do my own Instagram, actually.
I know your previous career obviously has helped you with that. But what I wanted to ask was, the policymakers often promote mass transport, transit options like buses, trams and trains as sustainable transportation alternatives. However, in other sectors, a solution is only considered truly sustainable if it meets all three pillars of sustainability: environmental, social and economic. Mass transit systems require significant subsidies indicating economic unsustainability. Additionally, only a small percentage of commuters, 6% for buses and 9% for trains, choose these options, highlighting limited social appeal. With such low adoption rates, the environmental impact remains minimal, achieving only about 8-10% reduction in emissions. So the question is, would you be interested in exploring a genuinely sustainable urban and intercity transportation alternative recently developed at the University of Huddersfield, designed to meet all three sustainability pillars?
I would always take a new idea. I'd love to talk to you about that. Let's do that. But just to, if I may push back a little bit on some of the thoughts in that question. I don't know about you, but every time I've been on a tram, whether that is in Manchester, Dublin, Nottingham, they're rammed. There is not a question that these are empty trams and we're subsidising a tram network that nobody wants to use. We are in West Yorkshire the only region of our size in Europe without a tram, and there is a reason for that. If you take somewhere like Bonn or a European city of the same size as Leeds, it takes our workforce twice as long to get into the city centre as those cities with trams. We cannot afford that productivity gap and that accessibility to jobs and to training and to skills, as I spoke about before. My job as mayor, the one job, is to grow the economy. You cannot grow the economy if people don't have access to good transport and access to skills and training. The tram network is not just about moving people around. And remember, trams take 2 or 3 times as many people as a double-decker bus. It's not just about that. It's also our opportunity, as we've seen with TransPennine Upgrade, to have those great engineering jobs that we are already developing pipelines of skills training so that by the time we've spades in the ground by 2028, we're going to have the skilled workforce ready to go onto those transport planners, engineers, designers, because this is an opportunity for the whole of our region to be the home of the engineer, whether that's the upgrade, whether that's mass transit, whether that's in manufacturing and engineering or digital engineering, whatever it is, we know we've got those skills. And this is a great opportunity not just to build something, but also to have that talent pipeline. I'd also challenge the supposition that it's subsidy. It is a subsidy, but I see it as an investment. It's actually an investment in our people, an investment that will bring further investment and confidence to our region, that we won't be the one region in the north where people are saying, you know, I'm choosing between Manchester and Leeds, and actually my workforce can get in half and reliably, because there's, you know, trams are reliable, they go all hours, you know, they're never stopped by traffic. Weighing it up, it's going to be easier to get the workforce. They won't, demand that they work remotely because there's poor transport. I'm going to go to Manchester. We can't afford to be held back. But very happy. I love innovation. The Mayor's Innovation Prize is coming up. So if you've got a great idea, please, happy to take that away. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for the question. Next question.
Can I just say welcome to my inclusivity champion Fatima Khan Shah, who has come from Manchester, as we were just speaking, so has braved the M62. So thank you for driving like a bat out of hell.
All within the legal limit.
Yes, of course.
Welcome, Fatima, to my namesake. So our next question comes from Sam C, and it is about technology, net zero, the green agenda. And she and Sam has asked, in the age of the digital business landscape...
Is Sam not here?
No, okay. I believe not, according to my notes. Just ask, though. Is Sam here?
No? Okay.
No. Okay. In the age of the digital business landscape and AI, how is net zero targets being managed given that AI and digital tech increases carbon emissions and works against the green agenda? We have already seen a reported 1.5 degree increase in the global temperature, which is concerning. The digital age will increase this. How is this going to be managed, mitigated?
Okay, so firstly, the climate emergency is real. We have made a commitment to net zero by 2038, which is ahead of government. It's going to be challenging and incredibly ambitious. However, we do need AI and data centres across the world. We do. Now, we have seen, haven't we, the impact of the climate emergency, whether that's in Valencia and the flooding, what we've seen in Los Angeles with the fires. There is definitely something about winds that have impacted on that crisis that made it worse. And across the world, we've seen crises. It is a balance because there is no doubt about it, data centres create heat and emissions. However, I think, talking about innovation, and I know that there are ways to mitigate this heat that comes from data centres by using it to heat communities and also to ensure that communities are part of that good news story of investment. So in Leeds, Microsoft are investing, I think, how much is it, Felix? 140? Or is it 40?
It's a multi-billion pound
in Leeds. So, as you've heard, many, many millions. I thought it was 140 million in the first instance. But the data centre also, it creates jobs, aspiration, opportunity. But also, I believe, AI, because I've seen some of the innovations at Nexus and elsewhere at other universities, AI can help us tackle our challenge around sustainability and the climate emergency. So Slingshot, for example, at Nexus at the University of Leeds, they're using AI to track flooding so that they can have preventative measures to get people out of harm's way. It's just one tiny example, but I think AI is definitely going to be part of the solution to tackle the climate emergency. But it is a balancing act, and it is about pragmatism, but we can't be left behind, because if we are, others will race ahead, and we will be left out of that opportunity.
Thank you. We're moving on to business, economy and skills, and we do have Rachel here, I believe. Rachel, welcome. Please ask your question.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Tracy. So you've touched on this already, your ambition to drive the economy in the region. So my question is, what do you consider to be the greatest opportunities for adult skills development in the region? And the second part to that question is, how can our local universities best work with you in support of this?
Thank you. Can I say to anybody that is from a university regionally, I think you've done an amazing job in difficult circumstances, and I'm very pleased that we have a really good relationship with all vice-chancellors and our FE colleges, and we're in fact developing an FE compact where we're going to work more closely together. But universities are part of the solution to our challenges that are facing us as a region in business, innovation. Here in Huddersfield, I was on a trade mission to the US. We signed a health tech bridge agreement with the Mayor of Nashville, the center of health and life sciences in the US. And one of our businesses that we took with us to celebrate our health and life sciences here in West Yorkshire was Paxman. You may know Paxman were a beer cooler business, and then the mum, family business, the mum got cancer and she didn't want to lose her hair. So they thought, well, we're in the cooling business. They came to Huddersfield University, worked with Huddersfield on a prototype for a scalp cooler. This scalp cooler has now just got all the paperwork in place for rolling out across the whole of the US. Already, America was 50% of Paxman's export income. Just think of what more we could do working with universities. So you are absolutely part of the solution when it comes to innovation, but also when it comes to adult skills. We are going to make West Yorkshire is a region of learning and creativity, but we are developing a universal skills offer, which is like the escalator. So if you're a kid at 16, you have a line of sight to a technical education. If you're a mum returning after mat leave, you want to change your job, you will have the opportunity for training in a skills boot camp or a program. If you're 50 plus and have just been laid off, but you know that you want to continue working, we will be able to identify a skills program for you. And devolution has also given us the opportunity to make changes in eligibility. So, for example, a level 2 or qualifications where there was a threshold of the minimum wage, and above the minimum wage you had to pay. We have made the threshold the real living wage. And astonishingly, 7,000 more people have taken up courses. And that means 7,000 more people in households have a skill, an extra skill that they can earn more money and get a better paid job. So really important for me. And also to have a close relationship with business who, you know, it's been pretty tough. COVID, cost of living, energy, national insurance. Businesses tell me on my business board and the Mayor's Business Council, which is a group of those global national businesses like Jet2, like Arla, Morrison's, Asda. You know, it is a difficult landscape at the moment. But more than anything, businesses are telling me that they need a skilled workforce. So that is a priority. As I said to you right at the beginning, I can't grow the economy without better transport and without a skilled workforce. So we are developing this universal offer. Whatever your need, whatever you want to learn, whatever businesses are telling us that we need to do to help them to recruit, we will do it. And universities are going to be absolutely part of that. But the challenge is always people's circumstances may not be that you can do 3 years. And that's why we are taking an innovative approach that we're looking at modular skills courses that will then be additional. So you can do, if you have 3 months, if that's all you can do this bit of the training. I don't know whether it's electrical engineering or whatever, you can do this bit. And then you can come back and do the next module, and you can build to those further qualifications that are going to give you those opportunities. But also really making the case for technical education and young people, that not everybody wants to go to university. Universities are great, but they're not for everyone. And to be able to earn, learn, be on the job, work, get that work experience that'll get you ready for work. And just finally, we've also made a commitment to deliver a West Yorkshire promise. Every youngster in West Yorkshire will have a module of soft skills that businesses are telling us that young people just don't have now when they're coming to interview. They've got all the qualifications, but they can't collaborate, they can't speak, they can't articulate an idea, they can't creatively problem solve, and quite frankly, some youngsters don't even know how to get on a bus or buy a ticket. You know, where are the gaps in the soft skills that's going to enable our kids to get those great jobs?
Brilliant. Very detailed answer there. Thank you very much for that question, Rachel.
Can I ask, are you a lecturer? Are you in university?
I'm not a member of academic staff. I'm a member of the senior leadership team here at the university, and part of my team look after sort of apprenticeship support and skills development for adults. So we're very interested in the opportunities for the LLE, the lifelong learn entitlement, and what that might do in terms of changes to our curriculum and our offer.
Is there one thing you think I should take away from this evening?
Work with us, talk to us.
Well, I hope you see that I do work with Bob, but maybe if you've got a supplementary idea, I'm open to new ideas, so just email me.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So we're going to move on to our next question, which is about national insurance and national living wage, and it's been asked by Gabriella. I'm not sure if she's here today. Is she here? You are? Oh, brilliant. Welcome, and please ask your question.
Thank you. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Thank you for taking the question. Following Labour's proposed increase, confirmed increases in national living wage and NI, can you suggest ways in which small social enterprises and small local business can become more sustainable and resilient in an era where grant and trust funding is becoming more difficult to obtain, and where often these funds do not include core costs or salary overheads?
Do you run a business? Are you part of a co-op?
Yes, I've actually received a grant from yourselves last year from the Safer Communities Fund. I run Hive Huddersfield CIC. We're a small social enterprise. We are based in Huddersfield Town Centre. We're a cafe and community hub, and you have been in.
Oh yes, it's opposite the station.
You have, and you left a lovely message on our board.
That's right, I remember.
We are welcoming Alison actually in February. Hello. To come and see how the project has run for our youth group. So that funding is fantastic, but funding is often short term.
Yeah.
So how can we invest in skills? We actually have 2 apprenticeships running. We only have 3.25 full-time equivalent staff. How can we continue to invest when the core costs are continually increasing?
Yeah. Can I encourage everybody in this room to at least go and buy a coffee from this amazing coffee shop that's opposite the station? And it is a youth hub, and it's training, and it's reaching youngsters that may be out of work for a while and getting them the confidence to come back into the workplace. That's why you got the money, because you run an amazing thing. I really believe in co-ops and social enterprises. They're often really resilient. They survive economic shocks better than other companies. They're often more diverse. They have great ideas. They're often more community embedded. They bring so much added value. Suma is a great example. Arla, another example of massive co-ops that have got impact across the country. But these individual cooperatives and social enterprises are so important. I'm going to bring you in a moment, Felix, to help me out with the skills bit. But I've tasked our Growth Hub managers, which are, we pay for Growth Hub support to go into local authorities, to also talk to businesses about supporting co-ops and social enterprises. How do we do that? Where are the opportunities for grants or learning and so on? So just right behind you, really supportive of what you do. But I would say it is a really difficult landscape. And my business board, chaired by Mandy Ridyard, who runs an aerospace business, I mean, the last business board I had quite a grilling because SMEs in particular were like, this is like a pincer movement. It's really difficult. NI and the rise in living wage and the thresholds changing. But also those businesses are also saying, we want a healthy workforce, we want transport, we want better housing, we want an NHS that's fit for purpose. So Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, has taken some very difficult decisions that I'm hoping that we see some positive news coming in this next spending review that is going to really support businesses. But if you need help with running a business, our door is open with our business offer. And we've got many funding streams, whether that's support to reduce your energy bills, whether that's support to get a skilled workforce. There's loads of opportunities. And the team is led by Felix, and I'm going to ask Felix to just pop up and say a few words maybe about how we support cooperatives and social enterprises, Felix. Sorry to put you on the spot. He's shy, so I've embarrassed him now. Sorry, Felix.
You still did it, though. Thanks for the question. It's a really good question, and I won't get into sort of some of the more political bits about NI going up and others. That's above my pay grade. Our job, though, at the Combined Authority, is to help you grow your business. Yeah, irrespective of there are areas where I can get into around taxes and others. But if you have a successful business running and you have access to the support that you need for your business to do well, it puts you in a better position to be able to deal with some of these headwinds that come our way. And every business, irrespective of the type of business it is, needs certain things, whether it's finance or access to market opportunity or information or skills and talent or promotion. This is common. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. And it's our job to help you with that. And so if there are any particular challenges that you're facing, the Mayor has talked about our growth managers and other opportunities that we can interact with you, just please shout. And it doesn't really matter whether you come to the Combined Authority or you come to the Council, David is here, or other partners that we work very closely with. It's the same door. And we should be in the position to help you, whichever door you come through, and whatever the challenges. One of the biggest things that comes our way is access to finance. You've mentioned grant support a few times. Access to finance is one of the biggest questions we get asked, opportunities that people seek, and we completely understand that. But the Combined Authority is not, there are 100,000 businesses in West Yorkshire. The Combined Authority is not in a position to support every business financially, unfortunately. And there's probably an argument as to whether that is even a good thing or not. But we believe very strongly that it is our job to support a business to access the right finance for that business, whatever that finance might be, whether it's a grant or a loan or an equity investment or talking to an angel or whatever. It is our job to help you get to that point where you can access that finance and you are ready to access that finance. And so if you want to have a conversation with us, anybody else here who's in the audience or might listen to this later on, if you want to have a conversation with us about any of that, then our doors are open, and that's why we're here.
Thank you. Thanks, Felix.
Thank you, Felix. And Gabrielle, I'll definitely be coming over for a coffee.
Be worth an article for the Asian Standard.
Definitely, definitely. I'm coming for a coffee and some editorial promotion.
Have a look at the work that they're doing.
Can never say no to our mayor here, so I'm definitely coming over. I think that's it now from all the registered questions that we have. What amazing set of questions you all had, and some very detailed answers from our mayor here. I think it's time now to open it up to the floor to ask if anybody's got questions. I can see hands going up even before I've asked. So there's definitely a lively crowd here today. Shall we, it says here I can only open up for 2 questions, but
No. Let's go for it.
Go for it.
I might consolidate a few questions. If we can hear, how many hands are up? 4. So 5. So maybe 2 at a time?
Yeah.
And then I can answer.
Shall we go to the lady at the top first?
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My question is around careers guidance and employment and skills, which we've already touched on somewhat, and it was brilliant to hear what you were saying, Tracy, about having a module for all young people around soft skills. I really welcome that. Nationally, we're hearing a lot about pledges around 1,000 careers advisors and work experience back in schools, obviously to make young people, or to help young people make sense of the possibilities out there. Post-school, it's also about specialist careers and employment support to help people get jobs so that they can remain and progress in inclusive, good quality work, as outlined in the white paper, Britain Working. I know it's early days, but do you have a vision of what this all-age careers guidance and employability support could look like across West Yorkshire, both for the people receiving the support, but crucially also for the employers to create those inclusive opportunities?
Okay, thank you. We'll take another one. Maybe somebody from this side, yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Oh, no, you've spoken. Do you mind, sir, if I just pop it to somebody else? I'll come back to you.
Sorry, you're all asking questions one after another, and then you're going to address them.
I'll just take two at a time.
Okay.
2 questions at a time.
This is to do with transport. 6.5 years ago, and I'm here representing the Slathwaite and Marsden Rail User Group.
Oh, hello.
Hello. 6.5 years ago, people representing that group and representing Moseley and Greenfield stations went to the Palace of Westminster to meet the then Secretary of State for Transport, Chris Grayling. Remember him? Because at the time those 4 stations were, I don't know whether you'd say top or bottom of the league for the worst performing stations in the whole of the country. So we talked to him about that, and we also talked about the Transpennine upgrade, which had been announced 7 years previously. And we asked him a very simple question, which was, when the Transpennine upgrade is delivered, in what we thought at the time was 12 years in the future, can you guarantee that Slathwaite and Marsden will have 2 trains an hour instead of the present 1 train an hour? He said he'd go away and think about that and come back with an answer. He didn't. In the 6 years since then, we put that very simple question repeatedly to Network Rail, to the government, to anybody we can think of that might have an answer to it, and nobody has produced an answer. Nobody will address that question. My question to you, Mayor, is do you think that's a reasonable aspiration that your station and others along the line should have 2 trains an hour? And what can we do to get an answer? It's not a difficult question, is it?
Thank you. I'd be a bit parochial to say I want a train every 10 minutes from Slough to Leeds and to Manchester. But there's been a timetable change, hasn't there? So we're now changing in Huddersfield. But there are 2 trains an hour, is my understanding. But you change in Huddersfield.
Sorry, I'm talking about services from Slathwaite and Marsden into Huddersfield to Manchester. At the moment, for most of the day, we only have 1 train an hour.
Oh, I see, because I'm commuting, so I'm at the busy times. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
At the peak times, you do
Yeah.
2 trains an hour, but at most times of the day, you don't, and at weekends, you don't.
Yeah. So this is, if I may say, this is evidence that we need to be more in control of the network, which is why mayors need to be sat next to GB Rail, telling them exactly what we need. But we also need to make the economic case that people want to use the trains, but they will only use them if they're reliable and affordable, and decent trains. So we've got a job of work to do there. But I've skin in that game, so I'm absolutely with you. And I am pleased to see the Transpennine route upgrade also means we'll have greater accessibility. We have 72% of our stations in West Yorkshire are not accessible. It's hopeless. We can't sit by and allow it. So we have a programme of works with Northern, but we're going to escalate that accessibility stuff. But at least along the Transpennine upgrade, those stations, Batley, others will be accessible.
That's fantastic. We're going to have brand shiny new stations. My concern is that
We need more trains to stop there.
Watching trains go.
Indeed. I'm with you, and that's why we need to be more involved and certainly make the case, the economic case, that more trains means growing the economy. To skills, that was a really detailed question you asked. It is early days on the white paper. Just to reassure you that mayors are part of this conversation on the white paper. We've developed our growth plan that is online. Is it online, Felix? It's online, where you can see what our priorities are that then will feed into the industrial strategy, but the white paper will give us the tools to do that. But this thinking is still evolving. But if you'd like more details and want to stay in touch, give us your details. 2 more questions. If your questions could be short, it means I can hear everyone.
Can we go to the ladies here at the front? Just stand here.
Hello, I'm Ange. This is my plastic baby, Leo.
I was a bit concerned. You've both got plastic babies.
He's a very quiet baby. My children weren't that quiet. Hello, Tracy. Thank you for listening. I know that the government is focused on growing the economy. But what about mothers like me and my good pal Anna here, who would wish to spend more time with their babies and young children? There's no voice out there for mothers like us and parents like us. Do our opinions count? I don't know, there's lots of questions there.
Okay. It's very broad, but yep.
Oh, great, that works. So I know you said that housing was under your remit. I was going to, given your pledge to build 5,000 new affordable homes by 2028, do you also have an affordable homes target?
Affordable homes, what, love?
Oh, a social homes target, sorry. I've written this down, or it's quite...
I'm going to bring you in on this.
So, as affordability remains a key concern, would you be receptive to limiting right to buy, like Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, has said, to protect social housing and stopping it being lost to the private sector?
Okay, a couple of great questions. Of course your voice matters. Of course, I would support you all the way to do exactly what you want for your family. Of course, there are loads of mothers out there that don't have that financial stability that they can make that choice. But of course, it is absolutely down to you to make the decision what works for you and your families.
Sorry, but I know who you are, but we've come to you, Tracy, I suppose, because you were such an influential, strong voice. But, and I know maybe it's not West Yorkshire, but we are people living in West Yorkshire, aren't we? All the policies that the government now push are all about getting parents into paid work. And there is nothing, and it's all about external care. And I know at the moment, Tracy, you're not in charge of those bits, but one day maybe you will, as West Yorkshire grows. And we just want to be part of the conversation that there are many mothers and dads in our community who are feeling pressures to go back to entrepreneurs' paid work, because that's what is valued in our, and that is why, Tracy, you're so important, because to have a voice for all of us, to say that caring matters for our very youngest.
I absolutely agree with you about the fact that women, historically, the work we do is continually undervalued. And I don't know about you if you've other caring responsibilities for parents or whatever. All of that work, and Fatima, my inclusivity champion, speaks very articulately about this often, that is so undervalued and so under-supported, and yet saves the NHS, millions, that is just from love. So we haven't time to go into it in more detail, but I absolutely say it is every person's right to choose what they want to do with their family. However, not every particularly mothers, have that choice, and they are made to feel guilty because they've gone back to work. So it is an absolute balance. We need good childcare, we absolutely do. that's going to, support people in work, but we also need to support people who choose. If they're economically secure, you make your own choice for your family. Housing, really important question, thank you. I think leadership really matters in this space, and I'm really proud that we have built more homes over the last 18 months, 2 years, than since the economic crash, because we have focused on building, because we know that there are thousands. How many is it, Carol, on the waiting list in Kirklees? Is it 8,000 for housing? 22. Blimmin' heck. 22,000 people in Kirklees are on the housing waiting list. Crikey, my 5,000 isn't going to touch the sides, is it? But we are determined to make affordable, green, sustainable homes for West Yorkshire. Now, there are only a couple of local authorities that run their own social homes programme, but we want to encourage them by working with housing associations to make sure that we have those affordable homes. And the buying your council house scheme did work for a lot of people. My mum bought her home, and she lived in it for 40 years. And it was a real pride for her that she was able to then say, when I die, you will have this house. Or be able to be reassured that if she needed care, she could sell the house and then pay for her care. So for a lot of people, it gives them reassurance in old age, but it can't be used as a business where council homes are bought, then flipped, and then people make a fortune. But Liz, I wonder if you want to take just a couple of moments to talk about how we're focusing on social homes, affordable homes across our patch.
Thank you, Mayor. So just if I may, on the right to buy, I was just trying to look up, so the government have been running a consultation, so I don't know if you've been aware of that. I think it closed yesterday, so hopefully you might have got your response in. If you haven't, then maybe send it anyway, and hopefully they might see it. So the government are looking at this moment in time, and as the Mayor has said, there's an opportunity, we think, to change that, to be able to tighten up the kind of criteria to try and help more of the stock stay in the social sector. So, as the Mayor said, an ambitious target, but recognise the need not just in Kirklees but across West Yorkshire, with too many people in temporary accommodation. So there's a number of things that we are trying to do to accelerate housing delivery generally. So we have a brownfield housing programme which is supporting housing delivery, as the name suggests, on brownfield sites. And whilst that is coming to an end in March, we're in negotiation and conversation with the government at the moment about whether that can continue, so that we can keep supporting sites coming forward. But we're also looking at what other funding that we have that might be more flexible in how we can deploy that in West Yorkshire to try and accelerate housing delivery. If I may, very briefly, just to say as well that many of our social homes are in need of retrofit. So whilst this is about building new homes, we're also really keen to see what we can do to support the retrofit, not just for social homes, but all homes. And we have a programme of work with our registered providers to look at insulating and providing other means other than gas for our social homes as well. So it's not just about new ones, it's about the quality and stock of the existing ones we have at the moment. Hope that helps.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. That's it, I think.
Oh no, is that the end?
That's the end.
Did somebody have a question? Oh
There's
gosh.
more than somebody, so...
Okay, so let's hear from you all. Keep your questions short, and then I'll try and answer in a sentence. So there are 4 questions.
One down here, up there.
Oh, now it's building. There are now 5. Yeah. Oh, heck. We're going to be here till tomorrow.
Shall I go first?
Go. Let's go quick, nice and short.
Oh, yeah. So, Paul Allen, Director of Leadership Railway Research at the University of Huddersfield. Welcome to Huddersfield. Good to see you here, Mayor and colleagues. So, we have 2 centres of internationally leading centres of excellence in railway research in the region. So, we're probably in a unique position in terms of academic support for the mass transit system. I'm sure we agree on the benefits of the mass transit scheme, Tracy. But do you see a role for your local centres of excellence in academia to play a part in delivering the most successful mass transit system in the UK?
Easy, yes. Move on.
Hello, Tracy. I'm here really on behalf of the Netherton and South Crossland Community Action Group in Huddersfield. We have two issues that we're trying to push at the moment. Firstly is the Meltham Greenway, which runs the extension of it. So we're just wondering if there's anything that the West Yorkshire Combined Authority can do to help get that moved along with Kirklees, because they're stalling over it. And also, the other thing we're suffering with in Netherton and South Crossland, due to the large volume of houses being built in Meltham, so it's become a rat run, so we've got a lot of speeding traffic coming through the village. So we're wondering whether the area could be looked at for traffic calming by the West Yorkshire Combined Authority.
Super, thank you. The leader of Kirklees Council has heard you. She's going to feed back, and if you drop me an email about the calming, but I think that's actually a council thing. But she's heard you, yeah. Yes, madam.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Tracy. My name is Yinka Oseni. I'm one of the Director General of the International Community Life Help Center. I just want everybody to know this evening that I have a project for the elderly people and the people that they are retired or they don't have anything to do in Yorkshire, Huddersfield, Leeds. I would like to announce that as from April, I'm going to create a place where we are going to teach people how to make dress, how to do the hair, and how to cut, how to do the hair maker for the people, free for them.
Fantastic.
So I want everybody to know that.
That's just a public announcement. So the leader of Kirklees Council has heard, so maybe you can share more details with her.
They know about it. I've even discussed it with them and they accepted it. So I just want everybody to know.
Lovely. Thank you for that. And can I say you look magnificent. You look absolutely fabulous. Okay, very quickly.
Thank you, Tracy. You briefly mentioned affordability of mass transit. Now, apart from the fact that if I want to get from Longwood to Leeds, I've got multiple forms of transport with the West Yorkshire Cycleway that's shut at Longroyd Bridge and has been for 2 years. How are you going to enforce some kind of a combi ticket or affordability on trains? Because I can get a train from Prague to Olomouc in the Czech Republic over 2 hours for cheaper than I can get a train to Leeds.
Okay, thank you. We need to control the network in order to then control pricing. And certainly that's why I kept bus fares low, because I know that M card gives us the opportunity to expand it from just buses to also overground and bikes, and then by consolidating, you can keep prices really low. But you're dead right, in Europe, they understand it's not a subsidy, it's not a drain. You invest in rail networks, you keep prices low, everybody uses them. And I'm jealous you've been to Prague. Yeah. And then there's a lady at the back.
Top, yeah.
Lady at the top, you've got a mic?
Hi, my name is Anu Ilyas. I would like to raise my voice towards the homeless people. By the journey to university, I have seen the people who are sit in front of the markets, under the bridges, those who want need for money. We all want money, right? Ancient days, we were at the stage of barter system. Now we are at the stage of imaginary world of money exchange. Why can't, by the careful implementation of AI, why can't we can take away this money factor from the humans, and why can't we can build the world of utopia?
Well, here to that. Why can't we live without money and have a utopia? Is that was the question? Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, wouldn't that just solve all our problems? But thank you for that wonderful vision. We have one more question that might be less esoteric.
Tracy, I'm 100% behind you with the trams. I mean, the only way forward is trams. To get from, the efficiency and the well, everything about the trams. I forget now. But it's, I mean, the buses...
Short question, sir. So sorry.
The buses have got the bus lanes and everything, but it's still congestion as you get into the city centres. If the trams, if you could keep the traffic out, and the only way to stop the cars and get the people onto the trams is to squeeze them out. So in other words, the tram takes up a good lane, only letting one lane of traffic into the town centres, and try and ban them from the town centres, the cars, and keep them out. And of course, once you get the people onto the trams, the payment will help to pay the trams. But at the moment, they're all going to cars.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, sir, for your support.
Hi, Tracy. I volunteer on a Wednesday morning with EPICS for the environmental projects, clearing the river and the canals. So we'd like to extend an invitation to you and all of your colleagues to come and help us on a Wednesday morning, because you'd be surprised how much needs clearing up.
Loads of invitations.
Can we stick
Thank
to
you.
questions that relate to the mayor's...
It's environmental.
Environmental, that's it. I think that's the last
That's a
question.
great invitation. So I think we had that answer left for Carol to give on...
Oh yeah, Carol's picked up the Netherton...
Have you? Yeah, that's perfect. I
Yeah.
think that's it then.
Honestly, thank you all so much for taking the time to come and talk to me. This is democracy in action, because it's really important that you challenge and question leaders that have been elected. Too often, people in the centre, people in Westminster, they don't get, they don't get grilled in the way that, lives that have been changed by their policies. So please do stay in touch. And know that you can always contact me, send me an email if there's something on your mind. Thank you. May I just say, 2 of my colleagues didn't speak and they look freezing. So I just want to give them a thank you for coming. And that's Alison Lowe, my Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime, and also Fatima Khanshah, who has come all this way from Manchester. And I haven't invited to speak, but it didn't feel like there was a question specific. So. Thank you all, and thank you, Bob, for hosting us.
Thank you so much.